Hello everyone, welcome to Tennis Fan Video. Carlos Alcaraz's round of 16 match against Casper Ruud marked yet another reason why he is so comfortably the best player in the world right now. He breezed past the Norwegian superstar, crushing him in the first set before turning up when it mattered to claim the second in a tiebreak. In doing so, the Spaniard has now set up a mouth-watering quarterfinal encounter with Cam Norrie, a player who notoriously caused problems for the world number one over the past few years. Speaking ahead of that clash, Carlos Alcaraz twice referenced the match and what he expects from the former British number one. Carlos Alcaraz sends revenge warning to Cam Norrie. First speaking courtside to Sky Sports after his win over Ruud, he began by rating his own level. Well, I just feel I'm playing great tennis. Obviously, it depends on the day. I cannot play great every day, but what I'm doing really well every day is to maintain my focus, to maintain my, at least a certain level all the time. And I'm trying to, mentally be strong and positive all the time. That's what I'm trying to do in every match, every day. And I think that helps a lot too, to win matches or just to play high intensity every point. So I'm just really, really happy about doing this so far this season. He then turned his attention to Norrie, noting, well, he's always a tough player to play against, at least for me. We had great battles, great matches. I think the last one he beat me. So I just really want to take the revenge, to be honest. But, he loves this court. He loves this tournament as well. So I have to be ready, well prepared, and excited and looking forward to playing tomorrow. Later, at his press conference, Alcaraz was asked why he struggles so much against the 30-year-old. Laughing, he replied, I would love to answer that question, to be honest, smiling, but probably Cam is going to watch this. But, I would say lefties are always tricky to play against. I would say. Just the way he can change the, I'm going to say the height of the ball. He has a really flat backhand and really topspin forehand. So you can be a little bit confused sometimes with how it's going to come. The ball to you. He's a gladiator. He's a real fighter, fighting every ball, every game, every set. So it's really difficult too, when you're facing someone like never give up any point or any ball. Carlos Alcaraz's head-to-head record versus Cam Norrie. Although he may have a losing record against the 7-time Grand Slam champion, Norrie has won 3 of the last 6 encounters with this phenomenal youngster. Their head-to-head is rather finely poised. And quite crucially, Norrie won his most recent meeting against Alcaraz late last year in Paris, which could provide a useful mental boost too. He has sadly never beaten the 22-year-old in a Grand Slam, and did lose in their only ever previous meeting at Indian Wells, when Alcaraz reached the semifinals in 2022. Alcaraz leads the head-to-head against Norrie with 5 wins to 3. The desert air of Indian Wells Masters carries a different kind of tension this time around. For Carlos Alcaraz, the upcoming clash isn't just another match in a long season. It's personal. Across the net stands Cameron Norrie, a player who has already proven he can frustrate the Spanish superstar and derail his momentum. And now, Alcaraz wants revenge. A rivalry quietly heating up. On paper, Alcaraz and Norrie may not look like a traditional rivalry. They don't share the decades-long history of some tennis legends, and their personalities couldn't be more different. Alcaraz thrives on explosive energy and fearless shot-making, while Norrie relies on relentless consistency and tactical patience. But in recent meetings, their clashes have begun to tell a story. Alcaraz still remembers their battle late last season when Norrie turned the match around with relentless baseline pressure. What started as a comfortable position for the Spaniard slowly slipped away as Norrie absorbed the power, extended rallies, and forced errors from the usually dominant Alcaraz. For a competitor wired like Alcaraz, losses like that linger, not in bitterness, but in motivation. The drive for redemption. Speaking ahead of their anticipated meeting in the California desert, Alcaraz admitted that the previous defeat still fuels him. For players at the top of the sport, revenge rarely means anger. Instead, it's about growth. It's about proving that the last chapter of the story wasn't the final one. Alcaraz thrives on challenges. Since bursting onto the global stage and becoming one of tennis' brightest stars, he has built his reputation on turning setbacks into stepping stones. Losses become lessons. Defeats become fuel. And facing Norrie again gives him a chance to apply those lessons. Why Norrie is such a difficult opponent? For all of Alcaraz's explosive brilliance, Norrie possesses the exact tools that can disrupt his rhythm. The British star is one of the most physically durable players on the tour. His ability to track down balls and keep rallies alive forces aggressive players to hit one extra shot, often the shot that leads to a mistake. Norrie's left-handed game also adds another dimension. His heavy topspin forehand can pull opponents wide off the court, opening angles that slowly stretch even the most athletic defenders. Against many players, Alcaraz overwhelms them with pace and creativity. Against Norrie, every point becomes a battle. And that's exactly why the matchup fascinates fans. Indian Wells, the perfect stage. There may be no better place for this showdown than Indian Wells. Often referred to as the fifth Grand Slam, the tournament attracts massive crowds and features some of the most dramatic matches of the season. The slow, hard courts in the California desert tend to reward players who can construct points carefully rather than relying purely on power. That dynamic plays directly into the tactical duel between Alcaraz and Norrie. For Alcaraz, the conditions demand patience. The Spaniard's natural instinct is to attack, but against someone like Norrie, rushing can backfire. For Norrie, the slower surface gives him time to neutralize Alcaraz's explosive shots and drag rallies into long, grinding exchanges. The result? A chess match played at 100 miles per hour. Alcaraz's mindset. What makes Alcaraz such a compelling figure in modern tennis is his mentality. Even after becoming a global superstar, he approaches matches with the hunger of a challenger rather than the comfort of a champion. He doesn't hide from the idea of revenge. Instead, he embraces it as motivation. But revenge in tennis doesn't mean aggression, it means improvement. Alcaraz has spent countless hours refining his shot selection, improving his serve patterns, and strengthening the mental resilience that separates good players from great ones. Facing Norrie again is an opportunity to test those improvements. Respect beneath the rivalry. Despite the competitive fire, Alcaraz has consistently spoken with respect about Norrie's game. He understands that beating someone like Norrie requires more than talent. It requires discipline. Norrie's rise through the rankings has been built on relentless work ethic rather than flashy headlines. That quiet determination has earned him admiration throughout the locker room. For Alcaraz, defeating a player like Norrie isn't just satisfying, it's meaningful. Because it proves you've overcome one of the toughest puzzles on tour. The fans are ready. Tennis fans love matches where styles collide. Power versus endurance. Creativity versus consistency. That's exactly what Alcaraz versus Norrie represents. In the stands at Indian Wells, spectators know they might witness one of those matches that swings wildly from momentum to momentum. One moment dominated by Alcaraz's breathtaking winners, the next controlled by Norrie's relentless defense. And somewhere within that battle lies the answer to Alcaraz's quest for revenge. A story still being written. Regardless of the outcome, the matchup symbolizes something bigger in the world of tennis. It shows how rivalries grow naturally from competition. One match leads to another. One loss leads to determination. One victory leads to a response. For Carlos Alcaraz, the next chapter of this story is clear. Step onto the court, face Cameron Norrie again, and try to rewrite the ending. Whether revenge arrives or Norrie spoils the script once more, one thing is certain. When these two players meet under the desert lights of Indian Wells, it won't just be another match. It will be a statement. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share. Till next time.